I got it. I started recording a minute ago just because, my connection's a little bit slow. So we are recording and I am opening the meeting tonight because we're going to reorg. So welcome to the Hartland School Board meeting of March 14th. We're going to call the meeting to order. I am going to start by opening up nominations for board chair.
I nominate Nikki.
Okay.
I second.
We got a nomination and a second. Nikki, do you accept the nomination?
I do.
Okay, then we're going to close. Are there any other nominations for board chair? I didn't think there would be. So I will close the nominations and we will vote. And I think I'll do a roll call so that it's official. Colleen?
Aye.
Hannah?
No. Aye.
Heather?
Aye.
Beth?
Aye.
And Nikki, you can vote for yourself. Okay. It is unanimous. Nikki is now the board chair and she's going to take over the rest of the reorg.
Thank you, Christine, for opening for us. So I will take a nomination.
Hey, Nikki, because it's Pie Day today, instead of saying I, can we say pie?
Oh, yes. Can we have pie?
Both. I think it would be odd if we, instead of saying I, we'll do both. Okay, I will take a nomination for for the vice chairperson. The vice chairperson.
Who was it? Was it Sarah?
I think it
I
was
think
Sarah.
it might have been. Yeah.
The chairperson sits in the hot seat when the chair is not here. And as it so happens, the chair will not be here for the next board meeting. So the vice chairperson will get to have some practice. I'll be on a flight to Seattle. So
I nominate Colleen.
I would second that.
Okay.
Okay, don't sound so enthusiastic there.
It's better than secretary. Well, no, I'm not going to even say what it's better than.
Okay, are there any other nominations for vice chair? Okay, hearing silence, I will do a roll call. All those in favor of voting for Colleen, please say aye or pie. Beth?
Pie. Aye.
Hannah?
Aye.
Aye.
Did I hear Heather yet?
Oh, no, pie.
Okay, Colleen
Aye. Pie.
and Nikki, pie. Aye. Okay, Colleen is the vice chair and also unanimous. Okay, so now we have the clerk of the board. The clerk of the board takes
I think I was.
Yes, I think it was Beth. And that person takes minutes on the chance that Leanna can't be here. Usually it doesn't happen often. But every once in a while, like if we have to come out of executive session and we don't have anyone and we haven't recorded again, sometimes the person has to do some stuff there too. So I will take nominations for the clerk.
I nominate Heather.
That's fine. I think I was clerk last year.
Were you?
Yeah, and I
You had to
think
do
that's
anything.
great. So yes, I will clerk again.
Okay.
I
Okay,
second.
okay, Beth seconds. So nominated by Colleen, seconded by Beth. Are there any other people? Okay. Going back to a roll call. If you are in favor, please say aye. Colleen?
Aye.
Hannah?
Aye.
Heather?
Pie.
Beth?
Aye. Pie.
and Nikki, aye pie. Again, that was unanimous. Heather is now the clerk. Hannah, you're welcome to volunteer for any of these roles, but usually in your first year, it's easier to sit and observe.
Thank you for that permission. I
Yeah.
second that nomination.
Yeah. It's just, it's a lot to absorb in your first year. But we got
I'm still trying to make myself visible, actually, but maybe better that I remain not possible.
You can
We
just
are-
work on that for this year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly.
we're all in survival mode today.
It just speaks to how little remote
true.
work I've done in the last few years. Like the first time I had to get on a Zoom, I was like, wait, it was 2 years into the pandemic. How do I work this?
That's awesome. But also not awesome.
Right.
That means you were in the thick of it. Okay, so nomination and election of signer of the manifest. That is currently me. And I am content. We decided it was me because I was the closest to the actual signing documents. So
I nominate you again.
So
I
just
second.
explain what it is for Hannah with the sign.
Yeah.
it's
Oh
the
yeah.
second-
So signing of the manifest is all of the, it's signing off on all of the financial bookkeeping that goes through the school. So it's signing off on the month or every 2 weeks on like all the paychecks that go out, but also all of the Amazon orders, all of the health insurance, everything that we write a check for, the signer of the manifest reviews. And it sounds daunting, but you get used to it and you get used to how to review it. So, okay. Did we get a nomination yet?
Yes.
Yeah.
We nominated
I
you.
nominate Nikki.
Okay. And then a second. So,
Second.
okay. So nominated by Beth. Nikki was nominated by Beth and seconded by Colleen. So is there any other? No. Okay. Back to a roll call. If you agree with Nikki being the signer, please say aye. Colleen,
Aye.
Hannah,
Bye.
Heather,
Pie.
Beth,
Hi.
and myself. Aye. Okay. So Nikki is the signer, and that was also unanimous.
That's the longest straw ever.
That one?
Heather's straw. It's the longest one ever.
Oh, yeah, that is really long. Oh, those special cups that we all have.
From the birthing pavilion at
Yep.
Dartmouth Hitchcock. I recognize that well.
Someday when we're not recording, ask me what ours is for. Not right now, though. So nomination of representatives to the SU Bargaining Council. At this point, I think we've bargained. Who was representative before?
I think I was.
Heather. Okay.
I think
Colleen,
I
were
was.
you, or was that some other
I was-
negotiation?
For
I
the
was
union
negotiation.
stuff,
Yeah, that's the same.
I think I was. Is negotiation the same as
Yeah.
bargaining? Okay, that was me.
We
And I
are,
will happily do it again.
okay. We are bargaining. We're up next year. So we're going to start this spring for the teachers.
Oh, we are.
Okay. Yep.
I'm ready.
Okay.
Okay.
I nominate Heather.
A second.
Okay, nominated by Colleen, seconded by Beth. Any other discussion? Hearing none, we'll go to a roll call. Colleen,
Aye.
Hannah,
Bye.
Heather,
Pie.
Beth,
Aye.
and Nikki. Aye. Okay, so Heather is nominated unanimously. Hannah, this is a boring meeting. It just keeps going. Okay, representatives to the SU board. Typically, the chair is automatically a representative. Hannah, so we have the 5-person Hartland board that meets once a month, and then the SU board also meets once a month. Each of the school districts, each of the towns. So there's 3 districts and 4 towns that go to the SU. Each town gets 3 representatives. So Hartland is going to send 3 representatives. That board meets once a month and discusses the SU business, which is becoming increasingly more of the school business. That would be, again, one that I would encourage you to get to know Hartland first and then grow to the SU size. So that, unless Hannah really wants to do it, that leaves 3 positions. The chair is usually 1. And who else wants it? Colleen.
It's currently Colleen and I, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been doing it a while. Heather, if you're interested,
Okay, here's what I will state. Christine, if you can guarantee that it's not going to be like 85 gazillion meetings.
My goal is to reduce the number of SU board meetings, and I think we can do that. So we don't
We
necessarily
currently
need to meet
meet
monthly.
once a month. They do tend to last longer than
We do.
our board meetings.
It's a lot of policy work, Heather, just so you know.
That's no, I know what it is. I'm happy to do it. My only concern is if it's a bargaining year and like springtime is going to be a thing, like as much as I want to like dedicate my entire life to Hartland and the Windsor Southeast School District, I also, I feel like I could go either way. Like I am happy to do it, but if, like if anyone else wants to stick it out, I'm not going to be sad either.
I'll stick it out.
You'll stick it out. Colleen,
I
how
like
about
doing it.
I'll make you a deal. Colleen, next year I will do it next year.
Okay.
Okay? That's my deal. Okay.
Put that in the notes, Leanne.
Yep, put that in the notes.
Beth, you said you were willing to stick it out too?
That's fine.
Okay, then I'm just going to make the big nomination of Colleen, Beth, and Nikki to the SU as the SU board representatives. Is there a second?
I second.
Okay. I don't know if I think as the chair, I'm allowed to make that recommendation. I don't know. Let's just try to
I
summarize.
don't know
what
why
we're
you
talking
wouldn't.
about. Okay, so I'm just writing some notes for myself. Okay. So any further discussion? Nope. Okay. All those in favor, we'll go to a roll call. So Colleen,
Aye.
Hannah,
Aye.
Heather,
Bye.
Beth,
Aye.
and Nikki. Aye. Okay. So designation of a truant officer. We are lucky enough that we have been designated Officer Paul. So I would continue that. So does anybody want to make that motion?
I move that we continue with Officer Paul
Through the
As-
Windsor Police Department, I think.
through the Windsor Police Department as truant officer
Awesome.
for this year.
I'll second that.
Okay, so we have Colleen making the motion and Hannah seconding. Okay, any further discussion? Okay, so back to a roll call. Colleen,
Aye.
Hannah,
Aye.
Heather,
Bye.
Beth,
Aye.
Nikki, I. Okay, so Windsor PD and currently Paul, or the, I guess we should have said, or the SRO.
I can write it as SRO, but you might have to redo it.
Okay. Okay, I'm not going to do a roll call. Everybody in favor of me changing the words Officer Paul to SRO, please say aye.
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 That was unanimous. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Designation of an official newspaper. I think we have had the Valley News and the Vermont Standard. Was there any other one?
Mount Scottney does the Eagle Times, but
Right.
you don't have to. Might not be in your kind of the catchment area.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we've always stuck with Valley News and the Standard. The Eagle Times, I don't know of anybody that gets it around here. I think that's like the,
That makes sense.
yeah. Okay. Does anybody want to move for the Standard and the Valley News? Make a motion?
So move.
That was Beth. Okay.
Yeah.
Beth. Sorry, the screen, we lost Heather. So
I'll second it.
I got
Sorry,
confused on the order. Okay, so Hannah seconds. Okay. Okay. Any further discussion? Okay, I'll go to a roll call. So Colleen,
Aye.
Hannah,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Nikki, I. And so that passes unanimously with a vote of 4-0 because we lost Heather. Hopefully we'll get her back. Okay, establishment of a regular time, place, and date of the monthly meeting. So we are meeting on the first Tuesday of the month. Lori at the central office, sorry, I'm looking at my calendar, which is why I'm not looking at you guys. Lori at the central office highlighted some dates that the first Tuesday was going to be challenging. That included the 4th of July and there were other dates. There were 3 dates that the first Tuesday was a challenge. And I wrote them all off as not being an issue. And I'm just scrolling through the calendar to see which ones were a problem. I think it was the 4th of July.
Christmas, maybe.
Yeah,
July, we shouldn't meet anyway.
that's
That
what
should
I
be
said.
fine. Yeah.
That's exactly what I said.
Okay, good.
It's a good excuse not to. January is the 2nd. Yeah, December is the 5th. That works.
Maybe it fell on a vacation week. No, it's the 1st, right? It wouldn't be a vacation
Yeah.
week.
Town meeting day is so March 5th. Well, it'll be the same thing that happened this year. So
Okay.
That's not an issue. Okay, there was one more. I can't find it, but I told her that I would tell you guys that it may be an issue and figure out what to do. So if we want to continue with the first Tuesday, we are the only board that meets at 6. I don't know. I kind of like to get it out of the way, but I'm up for whatever.
And is it okay? There are a couple of weeks I spend a few weeks working down in Boston. Joining remotely is fine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the nice thing about the new system that we have. So
Yeah.
yep.
And then 6 versus what would be the alternative?
The other boards meet at 6:30.
Got it.
I kind of like 6 because then we get out earlier.
Mhm.
In theory.
In theory, and it also, for me, it eliminates some of the parenting duties. So it's like kind of like, nope, I have to focus on this, and I don't have to do all that. Okay, so anybody want to make a motion for the first Tuesday at 6 p.m. and the regular meeting place would be Hartland Elementary School art room? I don't think we have to be that specific.
So moved.
Okay, Colleen moves.
I can second it.
Okay, Hannah seconds. Okay. Further discussion? Okay, back to a roll call. Colleen,
Aye.
Hannah,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Heather.
Aye.
Okay,
Aye.
and aye. Again, unanimous. Okay, we have done reorganization.
We're good.
Minutes. That was pretty good, guys. Okay.
I feel reorganized too.
What?
I feel reorganized.
Oh, good. I'm glad. Just so everybody knows, it's important that we, part of the reason I'm glad we had this meeting is that reorganization is important before the SU board, because then if we didn't reorg before the SU meeting, then we would not have any representatives to send to that meeting. So important. Okay, so we're going to move on to the agenda. So our first item is changes or additions to the agenda. We have a lot of things to discuss in executive session. So I want to kind of fly through some of the administrative stuff and ask questions later. I'm also worried as the wind blows and the snow comes down that we're going to get cut off from power, and we do have some issues to discuss. So let's try and move as fast as we can. And with that, are there any other, and actually let's, along with that, I think items for discussion, I'm going to scratch the students on the school board for this meeting and move it to the next one. People are okay with that. And then we have administrative report on winter activities. I think that'll be fun, and we'll just go quickly. So we're scratching students on the school board for now. Anything else people see a need for? We do need an executive session to discuss a couple of personnel matters. Okay. Moving on, I'll take a motion to approve the minutes of February 7th, 2023.
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
Second by Beth. Okay. Moved by Heather, seconded by Beth. Is there any discussion on them? Okay. Leanna, I thought they looked fantastic, and I'm really excited that they're so easy to read. I'm also going to say that felt like an eternity ago. So, okay. Lacking any further discussion, we'll go to a roll call. And Hannah, you have to abstain because you were not at that meeting. So
I will say nothing.
yes. So down to the roll call. Colleen,
Aye.
Beth,
Aye.
Heather,
Aye.
Nikki, I, and then Hannah, you would say I abstain.
I abstain.
Awesome. Hannah was not present. She was not even on the board. Okay. So that was approved the minutes with a vote of 4 yeas, 0 nays, and 1 abstention. Public participation or announcements. We had a phone number on here. Who was that? I don't know. Okay.
I think it was Alina.
I do too.
Oh,
Yeah, I
gotcha.
think it's Alina.
On multiple lines. Okay. Okay, we'll keep going then. Lindsay, you're up.
Christine, I know you have to scoot in a few minutes. Do you want to do your end first and then I can just follow right after you?
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
just gonna, I can just briefly, you don't need to present mine. It's brief, just to let you know, we're gonna do the legislative update at the SU meeting at the end of the month. And there are some school board new member trainings, and there are some school board officer superintendent trainings, and I'll have Lori. I think Lori sent one to Hannah already today. Sorry, Hannah. You're gonna get some emails. And that's it. So you can skip mine. And I am going to hop over to Weathersfield. I'll keep recording and just turn my camera off and
Okay.
be back.
And I'll shoot you a text when I need you. Okay. So Lindsay, I think I'm a co-chair. Oh, but you're all set.
Yep, all good. Once I hit slideshow. Nikki, are you able to see it?
I am.
Okay, perfect. So I'll just leave this here between now and the next board meeting, Nikki, if that works for you. That link right there will take you to a draft for student reps on board. A winter activities wrap up. I added some fun pictures. It was a blast. The kids had a good time. The staff had a good time. We had a survey that went out to both staff and students with the same questions. Here's some more pictures too, of some things that went well. So some of the things that everyone thought went well: student investment was good rapport builders, relationship building, which we knew would be a huge positive of doing winter activities. I love the one, and I don't know who wrote each one, but there's one that was like, I learned how to ski. And I thought of you, Nikki, instantly as I read that, like, oh my gosh, this is one of the most important purposes of why we're doing this, is we want to grow these future Vermonters. And here's a prime example of doing just that. And that they liked the snowboarding option, and that they thought the winter activities, that the options were good. But we also recognize there's certainly some things we could improve on. Some of the things that people recognize that we could improve on was the day of the week. And I don't know how much flexibility we have on that. That's a really great question. I can ask John Leonard, because I think a lot of the day of the week had to do with S6 Mountain and when we could get on there. So it's certainly something we can look into. I just don't know how much we'd be able to tweak it. Some improvements, we could do some more structured activities during swimming, which is an easy one for us to do. Some assigned groups for our younger skiers. Someone had a thought of, because it's 6 weeks long, doing 3 weeks, having an option of doing 3 weeks of one and 3 weeks of another, or potentially doing 6 weeks of one thing if that's what you're interested in. We can do a better job of sharing the choices earlier. And I think that maybe is to families. We typically send them out around November, the beginning of November. But, you know, Linda and I can check in and see, is that good timing? Should we send it earlier? And we'll go from there. And one of them was more choices for K students, which I recognize too is definitely a part of it. I think some of the challenging parts around K specifically is that because of regulations at 2 of the other locations we went to, they had to have an adult with them. And that was more the places, not necessarily our guidelines, if that makes sense. Some other comments that people had, would love to see skiing offered again. So, you know, that's exciting. Students seem to love it. I thought this was a good one, a slime, dough, and goo group. And there's a teacher that is totally game to do this. So I don't see why we couldn't help support her in that way next year. The last one that I really, really loved is, and this can be a Linda and I working on this, is getting some adults in the community to help run some of the events. And I think that's a great way as, you know, we really start to move away from some of those COVID restrictions and having people within the building. This is a fantastic way to build relationships with community members. So I thought that was a fantastic comment. And I wanted to highlight a few things that I would love to get your blessing on. The first one, I included a picture because the swing set in the back is worn at best. And we currently are in a nice place where we've got a pretty decent amount of surplus that you see there on the bottom, around 426,000. That was at the end of February. So I had asked Jim Taft around looking into what it might cost to get rid of this swing set and have a new one. The quote for the swing set itself was just over $3,000. And our maintenance gave me the rough estimate, you know, somewhere around 20% or so for anticipated labor. So we're talking just shy of $4,000 to replace that swing set, which I do really think is long overdue. The quote is attached there if you want to take a peek at it. Do you want me to pause there, Nikki? You want me to keep going? I don't know if you wanted to talk about that specifically, or I could keep on moving.
I think I like the idea that you brought it up, and I just added it to the agenda for the next meeting because I feel like that's appropriate that we bring it up and then allow people to digest for discussion.
Absolutely.
Does everybody kind of agree with that?
I agree.
Does that work though on your timing, Lindsay, around getting it done? Like if we wait a month?
It should be fine, you know, because we're meeting early in April. You know, if the board gives me an approval to do it, I can have Jim on standby and we can order it right away to get within that ordering window that Ed Connors likes, which is somewhere in the mid-April. I don't remember the exact date, maybe somewhere around the 15th.
He wants to do the end of the year orders by then.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that should be fine. If the board is in support of that next month, that's fine.
Awesome.
The other idea, and I can spend the next couple weeks for our next meeting looking into this, and then the few other things on the next slide, a ball wall, which I think if we build a couple of them, I kind of want to do a walk around and find the most ideal spots for them. But it's the picture on the right kind of shows how you would play it, but it's just this wall that we could paint with some, like a cool wildcat or something on there that kiddos could be able to play. And I thought of this especially with some of our older students. I chatted with a few of them and I was like, you know, what do you guys want at a recess? What do you want to play with? They said soccer goals. I'm like, okay, that's a pretty simple one. So we can look into getting some soccer goals for them. And some of these other pieces in the next slide here that I want to continue to look into. The first one is some cohesive paint colors throughout the building, what that might cost to not only to buy the paint, but to kind of get that done. When you walk in, there's lots of paint colors depending on the hallway you go into. And I think in the middle level specifically, what do they call it? Oh my gosh, it cracked me up the other day. They were like, it's Cheeto finger dust is what they referred to it as. The orange that's on the walls. And so I want to talk to Jim Taft around seeing if we can either in a phased approach or what that might look like, get a cohesive, calming paint color through the building. What we'd love to do currently as you walk into the main office, before you walk in, you see 3 trophy cases. So what we'd like to do is pull those trophy cases off the wall, relocate them to, then if you bring yourself where you're looking at the gym doors, relocate 2, which would probably fit there, 2 of those trophy cases on the left-hand side of the wall if you're looking at the gym doors, to highlight some of those trophies in a way that's closer to the gym. By doing that, we would have to move the bench that's currently there just to the opposite side of the wall. So again, I can talk to Jim around quotes for all these and then bring them back to you for April. And then you could decide to do some, none, all of them, what you think is best. The third one, we had a safety team meeting the other day, and we were talking about the layout of the office, and Heidi's desk specifically we were talking about. If you walk in, Heidi's desk is this big L kind of shaped desk, which takes up a lot of space. It gets really challenging if we were ever in a situation where she needed to leave quickly. Makes it really hard just because of the way the desk is designed. So we wanted to look into getting a smaller desk for her that would allow her easier access to get out if she needed to, but also in a way to work with IT and have them rig the cameras up in a different way. Because also right now there's some cords that are hanging, and she's tried to hide them as best she can. It's just not necessarily the most ideal circumstance. So we'd love to look at that. And the picture that this last one is attached with is the Gaga pit, which is right there to the right. Oftentimes gets a lot of weeds like that, which can be tricky to pull them out, but also can be really slippery even after you pull them out for kiddos. So we were going to just see what it might cost to get some concrete and or pavement down in those 2 Gaga pits in the back. Are there any questions?
What is normally the base of a Gaga pit?
I have no idea. I'm not sure. That's a great question. I think, was it Pete Driscoll years ago or Jen Driscoll maybe that brought them in? I don't know what the typical base of one is, but I can figure it out.
Go for it, Alina.
A quick Google search makes it look like it's usually grass, but.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I know it's usually it's not like a soft surface, but it's not pavement.
Interesting. So maybe what I'll do is I'll do a little research on, the reason we were kind of thinking like the concrete pavement was more the weed factor.
Yeah.
To try to help that, but we can do a little research and figure out, is there something else that maybe is not the concrete or pavement, because that could present struggles with kids running around and tripping and skinning into knees, that kind of scenario. But we could do a little research on what it is and see if there's something different that potentially could go on the base.
Yeah, I just did a quick internet, and it's a Gaga ball pit rubber flooring, which I think is what's in there, but somehow the grass is finding a way up through it.
Yeah.
So
maybe potentially it's replacing with a similar type of material that's there.
Yeah. Or pulling it up, killing the weeds, putting down a material that weeds won't go through, and then putting it back down in place. I don't know.
Yep. We can do a little research and then come back to it. Yep.
That sounds good. I agree with the fact that doesn't look ideal.
Yeah.
Awesome. I think that those are all great things to look at. Oh no, my lights just flashed. Oh,
Lindsay's frozen.
she's calling. Hey, Lindsay.
Okay, never mind. I think I'm good. I lost power here too, so give me a second. I will get myself back on.
Okay. I just flashed, so I wonder if it was the same thing. Okay, let's keep going.
Just a sec.
Okay, sounds good. I think you guys all heard that conversation. Okay. So I think that was the bulk of the administrative report. Let me see. Can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yep.
let me just double check the administrative. Okay, let's see. So then there was upcoming events. So there's no school on Friday. And then Matilda the musical is next Friday and Saturday, the 24th and 25th. And then Heart Awards are on, I'm just finishing the presentation for her. Heart Awards are on March 30th. And then we went to the superintendent's report, which Christine gave us a really short version of. So that was it for Lindsay's presentation. Okay, so I'm going to keep going because I really am afraid we're going to lose power. We had, yeah, she's waiting for the Wi-Fi to kick back on. Okay, we had 2 resignations submitted and a family and medical leave request. Was everybody able to see those in the portal? Did everybody get a chance to review them?
I have not, because I missed the window on my link to
Okay.
Gmail. So
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Wait, I missed it too. Where was I supposed to look?
So in general, if you go to wsesu.net and then click on RSU and then school boards, the documents, agendas, and minutes for each board are listed there under the meeting date. Does that make sense? I can send a link some other time, or I can do it right now. Oh, you know what? We usually disable chat. So I don't know if I can chat. Let's see. Let's see what happens. Send a message to everyone. Okay, so there's the link. Did you guys get the chat? Okay. We have previously been disabling chat, so. Okay, so I'm just going to go through them while we wait for Lindsay. Do you want me to read the letters since you guys haven't seen them? I'll read them. Okay. So this is February 27th. Dear Lindsay, is with a heavy heart that I inform you that my last day at Hartland Elementary School will be March 16th. As we've discussed, this has been a difficult year for me. I'm not the type of person who easily abandons our commitments. However, I cannot continue in my current position. I appreciate that you have worked to get me a curriculum to ease the workload and stress in creating a program from scratch. Okay, so I'm just going to skim to the end. It has been extraordinarily difficult to walk away from a decade of commitment. However, a new career is the only way forward for me at this time. Thank you for your understanding, Stacy Abbott. Stacy is our 7-8 ELA teacher. She'll be resigning effective March 16th, which is like what? Day after tomorrow. So we have that one. Then we have another resignation letter from Heather Vitale. I'm writing to inform you I'll be moving on and not returning to teach at Hartland Elementary School after the conclusion of this school year. I'm so thankful for the opportunities and growth during my 2 years here. The students and community are wonderful and have made some wonderful friendships along the journey. I've learned from some wonderful educators and will miss all, but I feel like it is in the best interest of myself and my family for me to move on and tackle new challenges as I grow as an educator. Thank you for welcoming me in this community and the opportunity to have such a wonderful school to teach at. I wish you nothing but the best. Sincerely, Heather Vitale. So those are the two. There's Lindsay. Lindsay, I just kept right on going. Finished your report. I've read both resignation letters. And then we also have a family and medical leave request.
Yes.
By Lacey Tancredi, formerly Stevers, who is one of our gym teachers or PE teachers. So she's requesting 12 weeks of maternity leave starting August 24th through Thanksgiving of 2023. So I'm really excited for their family. I'm excited that our PE family keeps growing. So it's very
And
cool.
that's the normal amount of leave that is asked for, right?
Yep.
Great.
Yep. 12 weeks. So let's see. I think we could go vote on this at items for action, or we can take care of it now. It's up to you guys.
Let's just take care of it now.
That's what I think. Okay. So I think I'll separate them. I'll take a motion to accept the resignations of Stacy Abbott and Heather Vitale with regrets, because we're bummed. But does anybody want to move that?
I can move that.
Okay, so Beth moves the motion. Any seconds?
I'll second.
Okay, Hannah seconds. Okay. We'll go back to
Nikki?
a roll call. Yeah.
Can I just add one thing quickly? Just of note that tomorrow morning I will send out a note to the middle level families, letting them know of Stacy. Now that it's board approved, I will send that out tomorrow.
Okay. Well, it's not board approved yet, but
Once it is, I should say. Once it is board approved, I will send that out tomorrow.
Yeah. No, that would be good. And once it's board approved, for those of us that have kids in those classes, may just be me. Will she tell the kids tomorrow?
I don't know. I can check in with her. I don't know if it will be tomorrow. It will definitely be before the end of the week. I'm not 100% sure it will be tomorrow. But she knows that the letter will be going out shortly after this meeting.
Okay, great. Okay, so we have moved and seconded the resignations. So we're at a roll call. So if we say aye, nay if you agree or don't agree. Beth, you're at the top of the screen now.
Aye.
Aye. Hannah?
Aye.
Colleen? I didn't hear you, but I saw you. Heather?
Aye.
Aye.
Awesome. Thanks, Colleen. And Nikki? Aye. Okay, so the resignations have been approved. It's always sad when we lose people, but and we'll figure out how we're gonna fill the ELA situation.
So
We can cover that in executive or public.
It will be filled internally with one of our interventionists who is willing to step into that role and take care of that, which is really wonderful. And we think it's Donna Hatch. We thank her incredibly for doing that.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. And thank you for finding a backup plan. And thank you to Donna for stepping into it. Okay. So now we'll move on to granting the family and medical leave request. So I would take a motion to allow Lacey Tancredi 12 weeks of maternity leave starting before school starts and ending at Thanksgiving.
So moved.
Okay, Colleen moves. Second.
I'll second.
Okay, Hannah seconds. Any further discussion? Okay, here we go again. Roll call. Beth.
Aye.
Colleen.
Aye.
Heather.
Aye.
Hannah.
Aye.
Nikki. Aye. So that passed unanimously, and congratulations to Lacey. Very exciting. I'm really excited when our Hartland family grows. Okay. So the next, so our now first item for discussion is we currently have an interim principal that we need to figure out what we're doing. So there are a couple ways that we can go about this. We can, as a board, we are given the authority to select whoever we would like and decide that we're going to appoint them to the position. Christine said that if we wanted to go for a search, the only thing she would recommend internal rather than external at this point. Although she also said that it is completely fine for us to decide who we want. And kind of the last choice would be to do an external search, which I think this late in the game, being almost April, we would end up with very few reasonable candidates. And so those are our choices. I have also talked to our interim principal, who, given the interim nature of her position and the uncertainty with it, sent out a resume to apply for a different position, and is on their list of their final list. So their list of final candidates. So in my mind, there's some urgency in figuring out what we are going to do. So I would take any feedback, thoughts, and Lindsay knows, I mean, I've had multiple conversations with Lindsay. She knows what's going on. So, and I also this is a personnel thing, but it's also a principal thing. So I feel like the conversation mostly should be happening in public session unless we get into personal details. No one's saying anything. Anybody can choose to say something. Heather, thank you.
I just have a question. I need a little policy question. My policy question is if the board chooses to, offer Lindsay the job, is it a permanent job forever? Is it a 1 year? Is it a 2-year contract? Can we decide how long we want? Is that?
Yes.
There you go.
Yes. We can, so we can decide, actually Tina sent me Lindsay's current contract. And I think, did she send me, and then she sent me the template. So there are options. And so there's a couple ways to look at this. One, Lindsay's, and we're just going to talk about this, and Lindsay's doing a fantastic job. And you guys, I'm going to be careful about executive versus public right now, but I think, we have somebody in the position that's doing a great job. They've been interim. There have been no complaints. There's, to me, only been positive feedback. And so to me, that feels like that person has tested the job. They're qualified, and we could choose to make an offer, or we could choose to offer a position. But there are other things that we can choose to do. Go, Heather.
Sorry, another question.
Yeah.
Lindsay, this question is for you. Do you still want, do you want this job? Do you still want to be principal?
I do. I said to Nikki when I spoke with her the other day, I love Hartland. The school is absolutely incredible. The family feel here is truly nothing I've ever experienced before. And it just is a magical place to be. I enjoy, I wake up every day wanting to go to work, wanting to see the people that I see, because everyone is just incredible. Absolutely incredible.
So I am so sorry that I'm not on camera, because I, feel like I'm just this random person with this now random voice coming through. So I'm just trying to think about this from this, incredibly unbiased perspective that I have, which is that I'm very new to the Hartland school system. We have just 6 months of experience with our kindergartner there, and obviously, 52 minutes of school board experience. So just trying to think sort of what is the best process here to make everybody feel good about whatever outcome, we decide upon. And it does seem to me, even Lindsay, for your sake, that having some degree of formalized process, it would be helpful to have some time period where we could go through in a slightly more formal way, a true sort of application interview, structure, whether or not that has to involve a long list of candidates or truly just Lindsay, because as I think Nikki just said, there's nothing like 7-month long interview to demonstrate your capacity and competence and goodness of fit, but that it might just be, again, for your sake of taking this potentially very, very long-term job, it may feel better to have some type of structure around an application and review and offer. And I think, for me as a brand new board member, just stepping into this obviously incredibly important decision, that would feel helpful to me, I think. And I don't know if the others of you agree, having a lot more experience.
And I kind of like what you're proposing. And like, I feel like we're in a really awkward position to begin with, because we had to wait until we all got elected. Well, until people got reelected in order to do anything. I will say that I do think we need to move fast. And I don't know, like, would people be able to get together potentially even later this week? I think, why don't we do this in an executive session and make a plan and then come out and formalize the plan in a public session. But right now, what's feeling right to me is to interview our current interim principal and make sure that everybody is happy with where we are, and do that as fast as possible and then make a decision. Does that seem like a good direction?
Yeah, that's kind of what I think too.
Yeah.
I mean, highly expedited. There's absolutely no reason for this to feel in any way traumatic for you, Lindsay, especially if, as it sounds like everybody agrees, this should be your longtime professional home. So this should feel like a good process, but just an opportunity for both sides to really feel like it's well understood and explored, and that when it's made public that a name has been chosen, that the process has been thorough and complete.
Yeah, I like that. Hannah, that's a solution that I hadn't thought of. So we can continue to we can continue to flesh that out in executive session and schedule a time. I'd like to move fast. Like, I'm kind of thinking Thursday. So let's figure that out. Okay, so we'll move on. With that, we need to set the next agenda. So right now on the agenda, I have student reps, and then I have the swing set, but I think it would just be like, I don't want to call them minor improvements, but they are relatively minor. But
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out how to phrase it, like a follow-up on.
It's budget surplus expenditures is really what it is, isn't it?
yeah,
Well, I'll just, a follow-up on budget surplus expenditures.
yeah.
Can I ask a question about budget surplus? If we don't spend the 400 blah, 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 where does it go?
So it goes back. So we decide that at the end of this year, whatever is left, if we did not expend the budget, gets set aside, and it takes forever to tally it up. So it doesn't go into the next budget. It gets carried over into the, what would be 24-25 budget. And we decide at that point whether or not it gets brought into that budget or we can put it into capital reserve. There's a couple choices that we can make at that point. And I think that we're calling this a budget surplus expenditures, but I don't think that we're talking about dipping. I think these expenditures are fairly minor cost-wise. They're just little improvements that would make a big impact, a bigger impact. So
I would second that, Nikki.
Okay, awesome. So we'll still have, hopefully, barring nothing happening for the rest of this year, huge, which I'm going to knock on wood, that we would still have the bulk of that surplus. Is there anything else we need to discuss at the April meeting? I think. I assume, do we know graduation date yet? Because that'll start to come up.
Yes, it is. And I believe Christine's putting it in her next superintendent's newsletter. But let me just pull my calendar up.
Okay.
It is June 13th, 4 p.m.
Okay.
Yeah, we did just this week, actually Monday before the snow day, we were getting someone who was asking because they were trying to figure out whether what day to take some time off.
Okay. Great. So, okay. So I'm sure things will come up between now and then. They always do. And if anybody, as always, if anybody thinks of a item that is really getting to them. Heather, you had talked about the question.
Oh, my pulse report. Yes,
Yeah.
I will have that ready for you for put that on April.
On April. Okay, pulse report. Okay, great.
Is there any need to discuss bells, or are we all set with that?
Bells.
I'm joking. I'm joking.
Any further bell discussion? Anna, you one of our first fully in-person meetings, we kind of went nuts on bell research in the middle of the meeting. So that's the joke that you missed there. But we will be ringing the bells at graduation. So, okay. Okay, I would like to make a motion that we go into executive session. And we have a few personnel matters to discuss in executive session. And I need to figure out, because Christine has the meeting, how to stop the recording. Which I think Christine has to stop.
Well, she might. I wonder if she made me a co-host. Sometimes she does.
She made me a co-host. Recording.
Oh, okay.
Saved. Stop recording. Ta! We did it. Okay, so.
Do we need to move first, or are we good?
Oh, oops. Yeah. Thank you.
We get it.
We did it. Okay. Okay, so we moved to go into executive session at exactly 7. Yes. There may be.
Didn't we say that we were going to come back out of executive session with the Lindsay Perkins situation?
Yeah.
You get your own words, Lindsay Perkins situation.
The interim principal situation. Lindsay froze again. Yeah, we will have probably 2 motions to make afterwards. How do you guys usually do that? Right. Right. And then come back on. Yeah.
you.